Hello, little friend. Do you hear that sound? Ribbit, ribbit. That's the sound a frog makes. Today we're going to learn all about frogs, those funny, hoppy creatures that live near water. Are you ready to meet some frogs? Let's go. Look, there's a frog sitting on a big green lily pad. See how shiny and wet his skin looks? That's because frogs have special skin that needs to stay moist and slippery. It's not like your skin or mine. A frog's skin is smooth and slimy, kind of like a wet bar of soap. That slippery skin helps them swim super fast in the water. Whoosh! There he goes, diving into the pond with a big splash. Did you know that frogs start their lives as tiny little eggs in the water? Mama frog lays hundreds and hundreds of eggs that look like little jelly bubbles. These eggs float together in the water like a big, wobbly blanket made of clear marbles. Inside each tiny egg, a baby frog is growing. But it doesn't look like a frog yet. When the baby hatches from its egg, it's called a tadpole. A tadpole is so silly looking. It has a big round head and a long, wiggly tail, just like a fish. It doesn't have any legs at all. The tadpole swims around in the water, wiggling its tail back and forth, back and forth. It breathes underwater through special parts called gills, just like a goldfish does. As the tadpole grows bigger and bigger, something magical happens. First, two tiny bumps appear near its tail. These bumps grow and grow until, pop, they become back legs. The tadpole now has two strong legs for kicking in the water. Then, two more bumps appear near its head, and these become front legs. Now the tadpole has four legs, but it still has its tail too. It looks very funny, like it can't decide if it wants to be a fish or a frog. Slowly, slowly, the tail gets smaller and smaller until one day, it's gone. The tadpole has turned into a real frog. This amazing change is called metamorphosis. That's a big word that means changing from one thing into something completely different. Just like how a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, a tadpole turns into a frog. Now let's look at this grown-up frog more closely. See his big, bulgy eyes on top of his head? Those googly eyes can see in almost every direction at once. When a frog sits in the water, he can keep just his eyes above the surface and watch for yummy bugs flying by. His eyes are so big and round, they look like shiny marbles. And look at those long, strong back legs. A frog's back legs are much bigger than his front legs. They're like powerful springs that help him jump really, really far. Some frogs can jump 20 times the length of their own body. If you could do that, you could jump across your whole house in one hop. Boing, boing, boing. Between a frog's toes, there's something special. Can you guess what it is? It's webbing, like flippers for swimming. The skin between their toes is stretched out like a duck's feet. This helps them push through the water when they swim. They use their back legs like big paddles, kicking and pushing to zoom through the pond. Here comes a frog's favorite time of day, dinner time. But frogs don't eat their food the way you do. Watch what happens when a fly buzzes by. The frog sits very, very still. He doesn't move at all. Then suddenly, thwap! Out shoots his tongue, so fast you can barely see it. His tongue is super long and super sticky, like it's covered in glue. The fly gets stuck to his tongue and, gulp, the frog pulls it back into his mouth. Yummy fly for dinner. Frogs eat all sorts of bugs. They love flies, mosquitoes, moths, and even spiders. Big frogs might eat worms or small fish too. They're like nature's bug catchers, helping keep there from being too many pesky insects around. When a frog swallows his food, he does something very silly. He closes his eyes and pushes them down into his head. This helps push the food down his throat. It looks so funny when he blinks really hard while eating. Different frogs live in different places all around the world. Some frogs live in ponds and lakes, sitting on lily pads and swimming in the cool water. Some frogs live in trees. These tree frogs have special sticky pads on their toes that work like suction cups. They can climb up tall trees and even walk on leaves without falling off. They're like tiny acrobats. Some frogs live in the rainforest, where it's warm and wet. These frogs can be very colorful. Bright red, blue, yellow, or green. The bright colors are like a warning sign that says, "Don't eat me, I might be poisonous." But don't worry, the frogs near your home aren't dangerous at all. They're gentle and helpful friends. When it gets cold in winter, frogs have a clever trick. They find a cozy spot in the mud at the bottom of a pond or under some leaves on the ground, and they go to sleep for the whole winter. This special sleep is called hibernation. They sleep and sleep and sleep until spring comes and warms everything up again. Then they wake up, stretch their legs, and hop out to play. Do you want to know a secret about how frogs drink water? They don't drink through their mouths like you do with a cup. Instead, they drink through their skin. When a frog sits in water or on wet grass, his special skin soaks up the water like a sponge. That's why frogs always need to stay near water or in damp places. At nighttime, frogs love to sing. Well, it's not really singing like people do. Male frogs make their ribbit sounds to call to female frogs. Each type of frog has its own special sound. Some go ribbit, ribbit. Some make a sound like koki, koki. And some sound like brekekekeks. They puff up a special sac under their chin like a balloon, and it makes their voice louder. It's like having a built-in megaphone. On warm spring and summer nights, hundreds of frogs might sing together near a pond. It's called a chorus, just like when people sing together in a group. All the different frog voices mix together to make a loud, beautiful concert. Some people think it's the most peaceful sound in nature. Baby frogs don't have an easy life. Fish, birds, snakes, and other animals think tadpoles and small frogs are delicious snacks. But frogs have clever ways to stay safe. Green frogs hide in the grass. Brown frogs hide in the mud. When danger comes, they sit very still and blend in with everything around them. This is called camouflage. It's like playing hide and seek, and frogs are very good at hiding. If a predator gets too close, a frog will suddenly jump away with a giant leap. Boing! They can jump so fast and far that they surprise their enemies and escape to safety. Some frogs even play a trick. They puff themselves up with air to look bigger and scarier than they really are. Here's something really amazing about frogs. They can breathe in two different ways. When they're tadpoles living underwater, they breathe through gills like fish. But when they become frogs, they grow lungs like you have, and they can breathe air. They can also breathe through their wet skin. That's 3 different ways of breathing. Frogs are very special creatures. Frogs are important helpers in nature. They eat lots and lots of bugs that might otherwise bother us or eat plants in gardens. One frog can eat thousands of insects in a summer. They're like tiny garden protectors, keeping everything in balance. Scientists love studying frogs because frogs tell us if the water and air are clean and healthy. If frogs are happy and singing in a pond, it means the environment is good. Frogs are like nature's special messengers, telling us if we're taking good care of our planet. Would you like to help frogs? You can. If you see a frog, watch it quietly from far away. Don't try to catch it because remember, frogs need to keep their skin wet. If you have a garden, you could ask your grown-ups to put a shallow dish of water outside for frogs to drink and bathe in. Frogs love gardens with lots of plants, where they can hide and hunt for bugs. Next time you're near a pond or stream, listen carefully. Can you hear the frogs singing their ribbity songs? Watch the water closely. You might see a frog's googly eyes poking up, or watch one jump from lily pad to lily pad. Every frog you see started as a tiny egg, became a wiggling tadpole, and transformed into a hopping, swimming, bug-catching, amazing frog. Remember, frogs are gentle friends who help keep nature healthy and balanced. They're not slimy monsters or scary creatures. They're just little animals trying to find food, stay safe, and sing their froggy songs. So the next time you hear ribbit, ribbit, remember all the wonderful things you've learned about frogs. They truly are some of nature's most amazing little acrobats, swimmers, and singers. Ribbit, ribbit, hooray for frogs!